You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal. I'm here in the studio with Jeff and Ken. Ken, how are you feeling today?
Pretty good. Caffeinated. Drinking my coffee here.
Good. I have some coffee as well. It's hot. I've added some alkaline minerals and whatnot to take the acid away. It seems to be working.
Alcohol.
Neal is an old man.
I'm getting older by the day, I guess, officially, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, scientifically as well. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I don't have my coffee. I just have a bubbly. I've had enough caffeine for the day, so.
Oh, good. Well, we don't know what Matt is drinking, but he's taking a tour of the Guinness factory in Ireland. Unfortunately, it's closed, so he's just going to be standing in the rain, but good luck to him on staying dry. But we do have a great guest here with us today. She's coming to us from California. She's an Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon, and that is Amanda Zarr. How are you, Amanda?
Hello. I'm so good. I'm really excited to be here, even though I've already messed up and called one of you by the wrong name, I realize.
Oh, it happens all the time. You can call me
We
Burt.
didn't even notice.
She called me Burt Reynolds for some reason. I don't even have a mustache.
Yeah.
It's because you're nude.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm laying horizontally on the table as we podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Amanda.
I'm a professor out here in Southern California. I'm a huge trivia, geek out person. I've been lucky enough to be on an amazing trivia team for about 4 or 5 years now. I think if you basically needed to understand anything about me, is I was dating somebody who introduced me to pub trivia, and let's just say the team lasted, but the relationship didn't.
Okay.
So it's like date night, but if Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman didn't get together.
Nobody's seen date night.
I would love to be compared to Rachel McAdams in any way, so I'll take it.
Well, she does not have as cool brooches as you do on today, and what is that brooch?
Yes. I have this brooch, my good luck brooch, which is a cat that is decorated as Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, I love it. Well, I think you're partnering with Jeff today because you said your specialty is sort of pop culture and things of that nature, and Jeff can fill in the science. So you two will be a team today. And Jeff, what do you think about a team name?
Well, in honor of Amanda's lovely brooch, we have gone with a David Bowie-inspired Kitty Stardust.
Perfect.
All right, so that leaves a team of me and Neal, and we'll do David Bowie as well. And in honor of the Goblin King, since we're both drinking our coffees, we'll be the Goblet King.
I like it. Well, if we're going to be playing a game, we need a very good host, and we do have one today, and that is a Dutch enthusiast on Patreon. So we're expecting him to speak Dutch, but it's not required. And he's coming to us from Moundville, Alabama, and that is Will Nevin. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Hey, guys. I want to start off first by saying, Bert, it is such an honor to meet you.
Resurrected.
My favorite movie is Smokey and the Bandit, and this is so lovely today. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here, and you can rub my chest here anytime you want.
Yes. Ooh. And I'm going to braid the hell out of your hair.
This is getting weird. But I like it.
I like it too. It's like Triviality After Dark, but in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So Will, tell us.
It is great to have another academic on the show. I teach journalism at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. So it's nice to be on with someone who can commiserate in our shared pain.
Well, it's wonderful.
Indeed.
We're glad you can put a spotlight on teaching. And what about you? What else do you have in store for us today?
Oh, a lot of nonsense. We talked earlier off show about geography. None of that here. Not having any of it. But I think it'll be fun. At least I hope it'll be fun.
All right. Well, let's throw it to the rules guy and see what the rules are.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
The cream will rise at the top. Oh, yeah.
I guess they're still the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years. The same rules.
Nearly
There was
200
kind of,
episodes. And
there was extra depth there today that I wasn't expecting, actually.
I think you're right. I think the vocal timbre had a definite presence.
Yeah. Very complicated game today.
It is very complicated with a little bit of seriousness, as our slogan goes, right? Is that exactly how it is? A little bit of seriousness
and a little bit of complication.
Yeah.
A smidge of knowledge.
Exactly. Well, we'll let you take the keys and drive, and we are ready to play.
All right. We will start the first round that I have given such a lovely name, the Robert Stack Invitational. These are questions not all about Robert Stack, but a little bit of Stack in each one of them. First question, round number 1. Robert Stack was a television host, film star, and sportsman who enjoyed water polo and skeet shooting, who had a nearly 7-decade career in Hollywood. But in what 1998 film could you have seen him alongside Yasmine Bleeth and Dale Earnhardt?
I do not know who Robert Stack is.
He's
You do know who he is. You just don't
host
remember.
of Unsolved Mysteries with in the alley. I would often see him in an alley that was foggy.
Okay. Ooh, what about that one?
About the really bad one?
Yeah.
I think it's 2000s, but let's just go with it. Okay. I know what you're talking about. We're gonna lock in.
Well, I think it might be too late, but just considering that these people seem like they wouldn't normally be in films, I'm pretty sure he was an Airplane.
Okay.
But I don't know if 98 is too late for that film.
That's better than anything I'm going to come up with.
Let's go with that. I think, because they just make fun of so many things, it would make sense that maybe out of nowhere you have Yasmine Bleeth and Dale Earnhardt there.
Okay. Well, we will lock in with Airplane.
Hey, so I know this is an IndyCar movie instead of NASCAR, but...
we went with Sylvester Stallone's Driven.
That was a bad impression, but...
It's all right.
So Yasmine Bleeth was the female lead. Stack and Earnhardt both had cameos. This is the much maligned, but actually kind of funny, Basketball with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, written by David Zucker, who wrote Airplane as well.
I kind of remember them, but not really.
Also not great. Driven.
Yes. Yeah, we watched Rush and Driven, and Rush, it made Rush look like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And Rush is a decent movie.
It is a decent movie, but yeah.
All right, question number 2. Stack was most famous, of course, for Unsolved Mysteries, a docudrama program that has now aired almost 600 episodes on 5 different networks. What was the name of William Shatner's sort of competing and definitely less successful show?
TJ Hooker.
Excuse you, that's Officer TJ Hooker.
I know it, but I can't think of the. There's my Midwestern. I can't think of it.
You can't?
What was the one with the other guy from Star Trek? With the beard?
With Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Fact or Fiction.
Fact or Fiction.
Yeah.
You ever spent a night in a cemetery?
You ever ridden your bike in a hailstorm? Yeah, we'll save Mystery Files for lack of a good answer.
So, Amanda, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of William Shatner docuseries, I think of Rescue 911, but I know that's not it.
I am a huge, I'm one of those very stereotypical women that loves true crime. And I've binged most of these. So I believe this was called The Unexplained, but it was spelled very weird.
Okay. We will lock in with The Unexplained or something. I don't know how it's spelled.
So I'm gonna chalk this up to my bad drafting. I was looking for Rescue 911, sort of competing. I'd give points for that. You said Rescue 911. That's good enough for me.
No, Jeff, I misled you totally. I'm so sorry. What am I thinking of?
It's the start of the game. We're all new friends now. Let's just give him the 10 points.
That's fair.
Oh, yeah. I already took it.
Okay.
All right, now we're not friends.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I will
You're fine.
not
Don't worry
lead
about
you
it.
astray again.
Oh, no. Not, if all of these are TV, film, Robert Stack questions, I'm going to have to keep leaning on you. Sorry.
Question number 3. Stack provided the voice of ATF Agent Fleming for the 1996 film Beavis and Butthead Do America. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms had a rough stretch in the early 90s with the deadly siege of the Branch Davidian complex in Waco, Texas in 1993. And this incident, only 6 months earlier, a similar but smaller raid gone wrong in Naples, Idaho, and given what alliterative name?
I'm sure the listeners are like, you idiots.
As usual.
As usual, yeah. Look, thankfully we don't hear that, because that would be really hard to play trivia with people in their cars screaming at us.
You're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid.
On top of the voices already in our heads.
Yeah.
It's this. It's this.
You're terrible, Ken. Get some help, Ken.
I don't know.
You're a failure, Ken. You're underemployed, Ken.
Well,
you're single, Ken.
We're all a little underemployed.
I don't know. I know when I hear it, I'll know.
Oh, that's not the voice in my head. That's my mom. She doesn't listen. It's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. We're locked in.
I just had it hit me. I was like, I'm sorry, Jeff. I'll let you
No,
talk
you're
this
good.
time
What
because
did
I led
you
you
get?
astray on the last question.
No. What do you have?
So I just watched that Netflix series on Waco, and they talked about this because it was the problem they had, which was at Ruby Ridge.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right. I like it.
Right. Yeah.
You really are the true crime buff. So far, this is right in your wheelhouse.
Much.
Wow, Ruby Ridge. It makes me think of there's a wrestler named Ruby Riott. But I don't think that's where she got her name from. I know this is incorrect, but we just said Heaven's Gate, which is not alliterative at all.
It was in California, I think.
Yes. Of course, the answer is Ruby Ridge.
Well, it's obvious Ken and I didn't have the correct true crime knowledge for that question, but Amanda knocked out of the park. So, Will, what do you have for question 4?
Question 4. Stack, along with Orson Welles, Kirk Douglas, Glenn Ford, and Anthony Perkins, starred in this 1966 film with a 3-word title that tells the story of Allies liberating Nazi-held territory in World War II. If you rearrange 2 words of the title, you get a classic documentary about the New York City drag scene of the 1980s.
Neil, any ideas here?
Yes. So
a lot of big names there. I don't know any World War II.
Well, I know Orson Welles and Anthony Perkins were in a movie called The Trial, which I believe was based on Kafka's The Trial.
Very Kafkaesque, yeah.
And I know they're in a movie together. And I'm trying to think of a movie that has Orson Welles and Kirk Douglas together.
Not Paths of Glory. That's World War I and also just Kirk Douglas.
I think they're in a movie called Is Paris Burning? But I can't think of a movie about drag that would be rearranged Is Paris Burning into Burning Paris? No.
Paris is Burning.
Oh, Paris is Burning. That does kind of make sense.
All right, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the drag movie is Paris is Burning. And I think the only way to rearrange these to make it make any sense would be, is Paris burning? So that would be, I guess. I mean, because we can't make it like Burning Paris is. Unless it's like a Yoda, like Frank Oz is in it. So what do you think?
I think the Star Wars came out a little bit after that. So no, I'm good with that answer. Is Paris burning and Paris is burning?
Yeah, I've never heard of it, but that would just be my best guess. Is Paris burning?
Points all around. Is Paris burning?
Right now I'm pointing at Neil like he just passed me a sweet cross ice one-timer.
You know what? The only reason I got it is I've said this before, but a lot of my movie knowledge comes from walking around Blockbuster for hours every weekend. And now that I can't do that, I kind of scroll through like Criterion websites and other things and just look at old movie posters. And I just remember seeing the poster. So
just imagine Neil sitting in a dark room just with the glow of the monitor.
I'm like Howard Hughes.
In his underpants.
It looks like every hacker in every movie.
Yeah. Basically, if you've seen The Aviator, I'm Leonardo DiCaprio when he's in the theater chair with jars around him.
Oh, God. And those fingernails.
Yes.
That's how I'm going to go out. Question number 5. Your true crime question. Stack's first major success in television came with his portrayal of Elliot Ness in The Untouchables, a series that ran from 1959 to 1963 and garnered Stack an Emmy. Ness himself, however, didn't see much career success after fighting the mob in Chicago. What string of grisly murders in a Midwest city did Ness famously leave an unsolved mystery?
Oh,
Do you do this professionally, Will? Your questions are great.
Oh, thank you.
they are so fun.
I am good to go with whatever you want.
Oh, we are locked in then. Apologies. We are locked in.
I have no idea. I think of, like you said, Elliot Ness with Capone, and if this was after Capone, that would have been
30s, 40s.
30s, 40s.
When I'm thinking of that era, all I could think of is the Black Dahlia, but that's not Midwest.
No, it's not, right?
I can't think of anything that's Midwest in that era.
I can't either. I mean, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, that is Capone. That wouldn't be it. It's not
a
Grisly
series
Murders.
of murders.
I have no idea.
Let's just say Black Dahlia.
Yeah, unless you don't think he would have done Gacy, right?
That's way too
late, right? Okay, so yeah, we'll go Black Dahlia.
I have to say, I was so scared coming on the show that I was like, I'm going to have this episode where I'm not going to know anything. I'm going to look like an idiot. And now it's like showing off my murder knowledge maybe also isn't the best thing. But I believe in Cleveland, Ohio, one of the biggest unsolved string of murders there were known as like the torso murders. Like they just kept finding torsos of people. Because they didn't want, or the killer didn't want it identified. So they would like cut off the hands and the head, and it was grisly. I know it's unsolved. Ohio would be the right region, but I didn't realize that Elliot Ness at all was involved in that, which kind of blows my mind. I don't know why he would go to Ohio. So I don't know. That's just something that comes to mind, but I don't know.
I like the torso murders. I mean, not personally, but as an answer.
I mean, I'm glad we're doing this remotely now that you've said that. But
Will?
You struck oil, lady. You had to stop digging. It was the Cleveland torso murders.
Wow.
Yay. I mean, I don't want to cheer that again, but yes.
Now, look. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I just read the Wikipedia article, but it's interesting that you fellas suggested the Black Dahlia. Apparently, there's some fringe theory that suggests that the two were connected. It's probably a bunch of hokum. But yes,
so we
Ness went from
we got a fringe
Chicago
correct answer
to Cleveland to be the commissioner of public safety, and he didn't figure it out. And then basically, it was like a downward spiral. For the rest of Ness's career, and he died like broke and penniless just before the. I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, because like he couldn't figure that one out. Like they were like, "Who the heck do you think you are?"
Yeah, I think that's what the deal was. And last I heard, there was going to be some dramatization of the torso murders, but I don't know where that is in development.
Wow!
And when he goes to the gym, Jeff murders his torso.
And just because I want to stick by my guns of what I said earlier, instead of saying Black Dahlia, I'd love to say her name, which was Elizabeth Short.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember her specifically.
After 5 questions, team the Goblet King, only 10 points, unfortunately, and starting off very strong, team Kitty Stardust with 40 points.
Looks like we found ourselves in a labyrinth of questions.
I agree.
Nope.
Usually my co-hosts are the ones that shut me up, but I appreciate
you found a worthy adversary.
Yeah, that's right.
Question number 6. Stack's first on-screen appearance came in 1934 with Bright Eyes, a film starring Shirley Temple in which Stack was a scene stealer as Man on Plane. What politically appointed office did Temple hold after her acting career? And for 10 bonus points each, what are the important details of her 2 distinct tenures in that office?
Okay, we think we're in the right ballpark here. Trying to lock in, but it's a little vague, but I think we're good.
All right, Amanda, what do you know about Shirley Temple's political career?
Well, I know that she became a U.S. ambassador. Shirley Temple Black was a U.S. ambassador, and I only know this. I'm having a little bit of a Slumdog Millionaire moment. I would never know the answer to a question like this, except that I went and did a Shakespeare production in the Czech Republic, and they have a statue of her there. And I just happen to know this. I am kind of embarrassed that I'm like, oh, how do I know this? So I know that she was an ambassador to the Czech Republic, but I mean, I don't know if she had anything to do with the gaining of their independence. Like there was or something like that for the bonus. I'm not 100% sure. Like, does the bonus mean like she helped something happen for the Czech Republic? Or, yeah, I do know. Yeah, I just happen to know this because it's one of the few places in Europe that I've gone to, but I don't know about the bonus.
No, my
you
dad
got
was
the
always...
bonus. I'm just looking for the where.
Oh, okay. So we'll lock in. She was a U.S. ambassador to Czechoslovakia.
Okay, and we said she was a U.S. ambassador. I thought it was Czechoslovakia, but I didn't want to corner myself and get it wrong. But we just put ambassador. That's what we locked in with.
Ambassador is the correct answer. And then for bonus points, from 1974 to 1976, she was U.S. ambassador to Ghana. And from 89 to 92, Czechoslovakia.
Okay, so we get regular points, and these guys get 20 points.
Yeah.
Continuing the slaughter.
Yes, exactly. Great poll, Amanda.
Thanks. One of the cool things about Prague is in Czechoslovakia, right? Prague.
Yes.
Yeah. Prague at night is lit up in the most beautiful way because when U2 went on tour through there, they loved the city so much that they pay for the lighting in the town, and their lighting designer of their shows lit Prague.
Wow, that's awesome.
So they get the bill every year so that it helps promote tourism there.
I did not know that, but I did have the opportunity to go to Prague about 2 years ago. Did not know a lot about it going in, and that city is so cool.
The best thing about it is, for me at least, is the river running through it and all the different bridges means you can never get lost in that city. Yeah. Always go towards the river. You see which bridge you're by, and you're like, oh, I know where I am.
Yeah.
And I learned one word in Czech, which was pivo, which means beer.
Nice. And if you're John Voight and you want to fake your death, go to the Charles Bridge.
There you go.
Done.
That's Mission Impossible 1.
It is.
For those movie fans.
Great film industry there,
Deep
too.
Deep cuts.
Question number 7. Stack was actually the third host of Unsolved Mysteries behind Perry Mason himself, Raymond Burr, and this legendary character actor who appeared in Patton, On the Waterfront, and Streetcar Named Desire, a role that won him the 1951 Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
All right, we know this actor, and we are locked in.
All right. This is one of those times where I would like say things to my team, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's his name. I can see him so clearly. He has this like bulbous nose.
I'm trying to remember. I know Patton is George C. Scott.
Yes.
Marlon Brando
he plays
famous for
Mitch.
On the Waterfront.
He plays Mitch in Streetcar Named Desire, and he plays the priest or the like reverend in On the Waterfront.
Oh.
And I always think that his name. Okay, do you know the name of the person who would? I know his name sounds like this guy's name. He's a film critic, and he at the end of every year he would write like the collection.
Okay, I got it. You're thinking of Leonard Maltin, and the guy's Carl Malden.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
We may have fallen for a misdirection here because we said George C. Scott.
The answer is the man with the bulbous nose, Carl Malden.
Wow,
yay! Good job, Jeff.
They're
well
beating
done,
us
Amanda.
in every aspect right now, Neil.
I shouldn't have done this podcast nude because I can't.
You can't pull
cover
your
your shame.
All your
flashcards.
secrets have been revealed. All those answers are usually written up your sleeve.
My Val Kilmer, Doc Holliday, ace is coming out of my wrists. They're not working
All
because
the
I'm
answers
nude.
written on it.
Yeah.
But that chest
I'll be
hair
your
is
hair.
luxurious.
I know. Well, I know Amanda is going to be braiding my hair, so at least that's something to look forward to. So at least I'll look nice.
And I'm going to braid the hell out of your hair. Yeah, I'm just quoting 30 Rock.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Question 8. Stack took classes at both the University of Southern California and Bridgewater State University, a small public institution near Boston, but doesn't seem to have graduated from either. This Bridgewater graduate, originally from Massachusetts himself, played both football and basketball for the school before graduating in 2010 with a criminal justice degree. He then parlayed that into a wrestling career in which he performed under something close to his own name for years on the independent circuit and WWE's NXT, only to be buried 10,000 feet under the earth on WWE Raw with his group Retribution.
Oh.
Neil started writing right away, so I think he knows it.
No, I'm having trouble.
I can't wait till Amanda pulls this one out.
I've never been more confused by anything in my life.
My partner is the biggest wrestling fan, and they're going to kill me.
No, not Sirius Black. That's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's something black, I think.
Sirius Black.
Cyrus Black, or am I thinking of the right guy?
Well, dude, who are you talking to?
I know. I'm sorry. I haven't been watching wrestling since there haven't been any crowds, because it started off kind of weird.
Really weird, yeah.
Yeah, and now they have
No, it's just sad.
Now they have Zoom fans or whatever, which helps a little bit, but okay. We'll lock in.
I mean, every part of this question is a black hole for me. Sports ball, wrestling, got nothing, Jeff.
Well, I don't think it's the Undertaker, but I mean, an Undertaker would be responsible for burying people, so.
But it might have been ironic. They were like, let's bury the Undertaker as a joke.
Well, we can guess the Undertaker if you want. That's the closest I think we're going to get.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect.
I could be way off. Like I said, I haven't watched it in a while, especially NXT. I don't even know if this is the right guy, but I do remember his full name. I think it's Aleister Black is the character's name, and I could be way off, but that's our guess.
So Aleister Black is a wrestler, as is the Undertaker. The fella I'm looking for, though, is Chris Dijak or Dominic Dijakovic or T-Bar in Retribution.
Definitely wouldn't have gotten that, so I don't feel too bad.
That's all right.
Well, speaking of wrestling, though, right now Ken and I are jobbers, which is a wrestler who just gets beat up so the other guy looks better. So that's what we are right now in this game. That's for sure.
Yep. I hope the category for the second round is Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Do you both still have your Venmo accounts? I'll just make sure to get that to you before the game's over.
Question 9. One of Stack's final credits, other than Unsolved Mysteries, came in 2001 and was a guest starring voice role for this, a long-running Fox television animated series.
All right, we're locked in.
When I think of long-running Fox animated series, long-running at that point, Simpsons. That's really the first one that comes to mind.
Be, right?
Yeah. Either that or I think Family Guy was really only starting then. Futurama started in 2000. Yeah, I keep coming back to the Simpsons.
It's only 21 years.
I thought Simpsons would be a good guess, but to me, I feel like Seth MacFarlane is probably a huge Robert Stack fan, and it makes more sense for him to come in one time on Family Guy and probably do like a Unsolved Mysteries parody. So we want Family Guy.
If there was a clue, it was earlier in the round with the reference to Beavis and Butthead, a Mike Judge property. This is one of the other long-running Fox animated series, King of the Hill.
No way.
Nice.
I always forget King of the Hill, man.
Yeah, because
Everybody does.
I only think of Mike Judge's
It's a
recent
good
stuff.
one.
All right, final question, round number 1. Stack's greatest critical success in film came in 1956 with an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Written on the Wind. 7 actors are tied for the record for nominations, 4 in the category. Name up to 5 of them for 2 points each. Or, if you don't want to do that, name the actor with the most wins, 3 in the category for 30 points.
I'm pretty sure I know these. We're going to lock in.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I think, Jeff, if you trust me,
I do.
I think at least I have 4. I don't think I can get 5. I'm sure there's somebody really obvious I'm missing.
I will. I'll leave it to Amanda.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Okay, so the ones that I think for sure I know are Claude Rains is somebody I just always remember him as a trivia answer for this specifically. Jack Nicholson, I'm pretty sure. Al Pacino, I'm pretty sure. Jeff Bridges, I can definitely remember too, but I'm sure he has another one. So those are the only 4 that I'm sure of, and I know there's somebody I'm missing, obviously. And I think maybe as a good guess for the person who's been nominated 3 times and won 3 times at least, maybe Michael Caine. And mostly I'm saying it because I'd like to hear an impression.
Maybe you'd like to give our answers in the Michael Caine voice.
Perhaps I'll blow the bloody doors off. Yeah, so we locked in right away only because I love studying Oscar history. I just went were the ones that I know. I didn't want to give any wrong ones, but I'm positive Pacino and Robert Duvall. Nicholson, I'm almost 100% on because I believe he's the most nominated actor of all time, and playing the numbers, I'm pretty sure he had a ton in the supporting category. So we went Nicholson as well. I think all of Amanda's are actually right too. I didn't even think of Claude Rains or Jeff Bridges. And then the person who won 3, I only know this, if I hope I'm right, from writing a question for a game I was going to use in the future, but I'm going to cut it now. I believe it's last name Brennan, and I can't remember if it's Walter Brennan, but I know the last name's Brennan, so that's what we went with for that.
All right, so I got one team getting 8 points, and I got another team getting 30 points. Points for Walter Brennan, who won 3 out of the first 5.
Wow.
Great pull. Wow. Very good. Robert Duvall. That one's going to haunt me for a while.
Very helpful due to our deficit.
Walter Brennan. I'm doing whatever I can to remember this name. So
the complete list is Walter Brennan, Jeff Bridges, Robert Duvall, Arthur Kennedy, Jack Nicholson, Al Pacino, and Claude Rains.
Right. Okay. Wow. Michael Caine isn't even up there. Why did I think that?
Because you wanted to hear the impression.
I did.
After the first round, it looks like team the Goblet King made up a few points on that last question, luckily. So we have 50 points, but still kicking our butts with 78 points is team Kitty Stardust. So what do you have in store for us, Will, for the swing round?
Well, if you liked that first round, the swing round is getting really, really dumb. Good. A guy I enjoy on Twitter, his name is Aaron Reynolds, my favorite Canadian, and he runs a couple of different Twitter accounts. He runs Effin' Birds, which I'm wearing their merch here. It's these lovely ornithological illustrations of birds, complete with swears. He also runs Bat Labels, which is screenshots from the classic Batman 66 series with all of their little label gags. And then he also runs Swear Trek. And Swear Trek is a delightful account that is just Star Trek gifs with swears. And one of my favorite gags that he does is a joke where Scott Bakula from Star Trek Enterprise is just there, and he's on the little gif, and it just says Bakula time. So the swing round today is Bakula time. I am going to give you an episode title from one of 3 different Scott Bakula series.
Oh my gosh.
Quantum Leap, Star Trek Enterprise, or NCIS New Orleans. I give you the episode title, you give me the series. So again, it's really dumb.
Okay. We're really dumb people,
great.
so that should work out well.
Hey, anytime we can mention Quantum Leap, I'm happy. So,
1, It's a Wonderful Leap. 2, Catch a Falling Star. 3, Hurricane. 4, Second Line. 5, A Single Drop of Rain. 6, Hell on the High Water. 7, Mirror, Mirror. 8, In a Mirror Darkly.
Nice.
9, Mirror Image. 10, Fortunate Son. SON.
Okay, we will consider these, and we'll be right back.
All right, all the answers are locked in from the swing round. So let's go back to the Peabody of trivia podcasting with all these great questions. And that would be journalism teacher Will. What do you have for us?
Ooh, nice. I did want to say one little thing before we get to the answers. So I think we all have at least some understanding of Quantum Leap, Sam Beckett, Star Trek Enterprise, Captain Jonathan Archer. I had to go look up exactly Bakula's role on NCIS New Orleans, and this is what I found on a fan wiki. He is Dwayne King Cassius Pride, and this is an exact quote. Quote: "He is the smart one, and he is the quiet old man." So that's what he does on NCIS New Orleans, if you were curious.
Okay.
Kind of sounds like what I'm looking for in a partner. So,
Question 1: It's a Wonderful Leap.
Cool. So we just hoped that Will was giving us one here and went with Quantum Leap.
Yeah, we started, honestly, spoiler alert, we said the first 3 were the gimmies, so we went with Quantum Leap.
Captain Jonathan Archer is on an important mission for... Sam is a New York City taxi cab driver named Max Greenman who's trying to earn enough money to get his father his own medallion. Quantum Leap.
All right.
Number 2. Catch a Falling Star.
Well, we didn't think that this was necessarily Star Trek as the obvious one, but we thought maybe there was an old star in New Orleans who committed a crime, so we said it was NCIS.
That would be clever. We went with Enterprise.
Sam leaps just seconds before curtain time into Ray Hutton, the understudy to an alcoholic actor in the role of Don Quixote on an off-Broadway production of Man of La Mancha, Quantum Leap.
Ooh.
Neal
Nice.
failed me as my Sancho that time.
I might have to watch Quantum Leap after this.
It's so good. It's like impossible to dream about anything better.
There's a great one, not to talk too much about it, but where I believe he's like on a farm or he's like a cowhand. They have like this really slow motion shot of him like with his shirt off and he's got like gloves on and he's like riding a horse.
This show sounds insane.
It's very 80s, but it's really fun, yeah.
Number 3, Hurricane.
Well, we just hoped this was, since the title's so uncreative, we went with the show that maybe the writers were tired. So we went with NCIS.
We too said NCIS.
As the deputy sheriff, Sam must prevent a murder as Hurricane Camille hits the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Quantum Leap again.
Are these all Quantum Leap?
Okay. Are these all going to be Quantum Leap episodes? Oh, man. That would be amazing. That would
also
amazing.
fulfill the criterion that was set up by Will in the beginning when he said this swing round was really dumb.
Number 4, Second Line.
We said NCIS again.
Well, if the trend is to be continued, we said Quantum Leap.
The NCIS team investigates the murder of a Navy lieutenant during a French Quarter second line funeral procession, a New Orleans tradition that celebrates the recently deceased with a musical street parade.
Well, thank goodness for
NCIS
that.
New Orleans.
Second line. That's right. Treme talks about that a lot. Dang. Should have thought of that.
Also on my list.
All right.
Number 5, A Single Drop of Rain.
Yeah, we went with Enterprise on this one. It sounded like a very eloquent title.
Yeah, that's the same thing that we thought was the titles were a little more thoughtful for Trek, so we said Enterprise.
Sam leaps into Dr. William Billy Beaumont, returning to his hometown where everyone suffers from drought. Everyone expects him to make rain, but really Sam is there to keep William's brother and his wife together. Quantum Leap.
This might be my favorite swing
I
ever.
hate this. He just says, Sam! No!
Oh my God, how funny.
Number 6, Hell on the High Water.
We thought Sam jumps into a pirate body or something, so we said leap.
That's pretty great. We figured, places where they wouldn't be worried about high water or places with levees, so we said NCIS.
Pride's team works around the clock to save Pride from an oil rig as he tries to capture suspected murderers that work on the rig from a major explosion. NCIS New Orleans.
Oh, finally.
Number 7, Mirror, Mirror.
All right, so here we had some sort of guesses because I'm aware of very, very offensive but well-circulated GIF online from Quantum Leap that features a mirror. So we figured one of these was Leap, but we went with Enterprise for this one.
And we again, with our logic, thinking about the titles that maybe are stretching it a little bit or are a little bit more commonplace, we decided NCIS.
After Rita Devereaux tells Pride that Douglas Hamilton is about to make a deal to get out of prison, Pride and the team rehash the Clearwater case in hopes of locating his mystery partner and spoiling his bargaining chip. NCIS New Orleans. Number 8, In a Mirror Darkly.
For this one, we said NCIS.
We thought this one had a nice Enterprise ring to it, so we said Star Trek.
In the Mirror Universe, Commander Archer mutinies against Captain Forrest in order to save a future Earth ship found in Tholian space. Star Trek Enterprise.
Nice.
One of the few Enterprise episodes I'll swear to.
I kind of feel like at the end of every answer, Will should just go, and Sam leaps into that body.
You know what? We could actually use Sam to leap into our bodies because we're just losing so miserably.
I wouldn't mind if Sam finished this round for me.
Number 9, Mirror Image.
We thought maybe this is I think game theory kind of came up for us this one. And so we said quantum leap, maybe thinking he leaped into like a twin body and had to discover he was a twin or something like that.
Yeah, we think this might be the quantum leap GIF one.
Sam leaps into a bar in Cokeburg, Pennsylvania, a coal mining town, and to Sam's surprise, he leaps at the exact moment of his birth. When he looks into a mirror, he sees his own image looking back. The Quantum Leap series finale.
Oh
the
man.
Series finale that. Oh.
That makes sense. I remember the ending of the show, which I remember left me very disappointed. But it was poignant.
And it all takes place in a snow globe, right?
It does. The camera zooms out, and the snow globe is actually Tim Allen in the Santa Claus, and he's becoming Santa when he shakes the snow globe.
Layers on layers on layers.
And number 10, Fortunate Son.
It's got a southern ring to it, even though Creedence Clearwater Revival is not a southern band. We said NCIS.
I think they're from Berkeley, but we too said NCIS. It sounded like a very southern show title.
They see, I would have guessed Quantum Leap, thinking that, that's their Vietnam War episode. The cargo ship Fortunate is damaged by Nausicaan pirates, and Enterprise offers a helping hand only to find the acting captain has secret plans. Star Trek Enterprise.
Wow, that was not good for us, Jeff.
You guys theoried it out a lot better than we did.
And their score shows it because they have 103 points going into the second round, while we have 45.
How did we lose points?
Didn't we have... Oh, I'm sorry. I took the wrong number.
How did we lose points?
Because we're terrible.
How did we lose points? It was said with such earnestness.
My math was wrong there. We actually have 55.
Thank goodness for that.
Yes.
Oh, my math was wrong is the tagline of Triviality Podcast.
Yet every episode, Will and Amanda have heard probably almost all the episodes, and every episode I still keep doing the math when I'm the worst at it for some reason. I don't know why.
So I feel like I'm going to have to give back that Peabody Award that Burt Reynolds gave to me with this second round. But you know what? I'm proud of it. It made me happy. So welcome to round number 2. Drops of Jupiter, more like drops of Poopiter. Questions about trains.
Oh, no.
Jupiter and poo.
Oh, right. My God. Can't wait.
Question number 1. In a demonstration of masterful songwriting, what's at least one word that appears to rhyme with itself in Train's 1998 smash single, Meet Virginia?
Ooh, I think... Did you say there's only one word, or are there multiple words?
When I think of this song, I think of one word where it's like, come on, that was some crappy writing. Okay. But if you look at the lyrics and structurally, I found at least 4.
Do you know the line?
I don't.
We're locked in.
I think the problem in this songwriting happens halfway through when they get super lazy. Because I think they say, well, she wants to live her life and she thinks about her life.
I think the problem started when they formed the band Train.
You're saying that's a really deeper problem than the song?
It's a much deeper problem.
That's right. They do say that.
It's that bad a song, but I think it's like, it starts kind of strong. It's like the, I think it's life. I think they try to rhyme life with life later in this song. It's pretty bad.
That sounds about right and pretty terrible. So,
yeah. As a person who attempts to write songs myself, this makes me so furious when I hear lazy songwriting like this, or a lyric that literally means nothing. So we also said life.
Points for life, but the one that sticks out to me is, let's see, her brother is a fine mediator for the president. Sit at home and rip on the president. So I have president, queen, life, and unusual. But points all around.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I was thinking queen also, but life really sticks out to me. So
president rhymes with resident. Life, strife. Come on, people. Like, this is not hard.
So here's a lyric. Here's a lyric that I can't stand. She was a girl. He was a boy. Could I make it any more obvious? He was a punk. She took ballet. What more can I say? So really, she's exclaiming to herself how much she's explained about these people when really we don't know anything yet. She used up 2 of her lyrics to just compliment herself on how descriptive she has been.
In the 6 lines.
Now, which Avril Lavigne was the better songwriter? The first one or the one we have now?
Whichever one did Hello Kitty Kawaii.
That song slaps.
Isn't she married to somebody interesting?
That Nickelback guy, I think.
She was married to Chad Kroeger, and she also was married to the lead singer of Sum 41, I believe, as well.
That's brutal.
Oh.
That's a brutal musical
marriages.
pile.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, containing approximately 2.5 times the mass of all other planets combined. But within 10, how many moons does it have? And keep in mind, many of them aren't much bigger than drops.
I got you, Amanda.
Oh, thank God.
We got this.
But that question is brilliant. Well done.
All right, I'm gonna show you my astrology. Not astrology. Astronomy. Zodiac. Capricorn. Pisces.
Oh no.
Zodiac killer. Full circle. Let's do this.
There you go. I guess is this the one that has the moon Titan? Or is that
no? That's
Uranus? Saturn. Okay, I'm way off. Jupiter, I believe. I don't know why this number's coming to me, but I want to say it's 9. And I don't know why.
He said within 10 though.
Oh, so it's a lot.
See, I thought it was low 20s, but since he said within 10, I want to go like low 50s.
Low 50s. What about 49?
Okay, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Amanda, I want to say that when I was a kid, there was like high 60s, low 70s. So I want to say.
Tell me they downgraded some of the objects.
I think they probably found more since then. But my guess was 70. So.
Sounds good.
Perfect. We'll lock in 70.
79. 79.
Son of a gun.
Some points.
Nice. Well done, Jeff.
Thank you. I had to get one of these since you carried the rest. So.
Did any of those moons kill people? Because then I got it.
Question number 3. Diarrhea is the funniest sort of poo, and it's definitely the hardest to spell. So spell it.
Oh, God.
For an additional 10 points, what is the British spelling?
I can't spell to save my life.
You take it.
Spell check
Neal.
on computers is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Well, in my lifetime, like vaccines and like my birth and other stuff that I had nothing to do with.
My birth was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
I was oh my God, it's my medicine. I'm sorry. I was an amateur speller for 1 year at least. When I think I've mentioned.
What does that mean? Does that mean you were in a school spelling bee?
Exactly.
It's an amateur spelling. It's like I got paid to spell on a street
Please
corner.
spell diarrhea.
Well, I lost on the word
Could you please
fuselage.
use it in a sentence?
Sure.
I have explosive diarrhea.
For the amount of time I spend
I
on
have
You're
the
driving
language
in a
of origin,
Chevy and
please?
you feel something heavy, diarrhea.
When you're sliding toward home and your pants are full of foam. Diarrhea.
Sorry, listeners. For the amount of time that I spend on WebMD every day, I think I got the spelling right. So we're going to lock in.
The thing is, that's not a joke.
Jeff, did you say you're good at spelling? Or
I'm
you were
terrible
like,
at
this is not
spelling.
your
Today's
arena?
episode sponsored by Chevy.
Oh, I thought it was sponsored by Scripps, who does the spelling bee.
When you're trying to win the scripts and you feel something drip.
That's clever. I don't like it, but clever. I think it's a double R.
Pirate problems. DIARRHEA.
Okay.
I don't know the English, but I mean, I guess we could say the English spelling adds an extra E at the end like they do with other words.
I'm pretty sure they're correct. I believe it's DIARRHEA. No idea on the British spelling, so I just put the H toward the beginning. So we said DHIARREA.
So, points to both teams for the correct spelling of diarrhea. The English spelling adds an O for some reason. DIARRHOEA.
They add the O in diarrhea because that's what you say when you get it. Oh.
Oh, bother. Question 4. Train's lead singer is Pat Monahan, a 51-year-old rocker originally from Erie, Pennsylvania. His name, however, kind of sounds like this former U.S. Senator from New York, whose retirement paved the way for Hillary Clinton to represent the state in Congress.
Oh, do you know this one? I know the history. It's
we could just say.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Okay, we're locked in.
There's this is why I need a team again. There's what is the name of the actor on SNL?
Bobby Moynihan.
Yes, I think it's something. It sounds really close to that. Bobby, what is it again?
Moynihan.
It sounds really similar to that.
Okay.
Or it is that.
Do you want to just guess last name Moynihan?
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah, sure can.
Absolutely.
We play by Jeopardy rules.
That's my best guess. I think that was his name.
Moynihan. Okay, that's what we'll go with.
All right, we also said Moynihan, but we're guessing.
Bingo, bango. Points all around. Daniel, Patrick, Pat, Moynihan.
Nice.
Good job, Jeff.
Good teamwork.
Thank God. Bobby Moynihan.
Drunk uncle.
Question number 5. Enuresis is the medical term for any involuntary loss of urine. What's the medical term for its smellier counterpart?
In your feces?
That was an insult I heard on the playground all the time.
Okay, we're locked in.
Well, all I can think of, and I can't believe I'm reasoning this out on a talk show. So if it's maybe like the Latin phrase for like URI kind of
urine.
Talks about like, urine, but also the urethra, things like that. So I'm like, is rec, like REC, kind of maybe just what you replace in that word?
So it would be rec-resis? I don't know what this word looks like.
In rec-resis, maybe? Like just kind of trying to sum out the word game? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I was thinking about how we could replace the in your part of it, but...
Ken wrote down incontinence, which I believe is what this is. So that's what we went with.
But it depends whether the answer is correct or not.
Oh, I see what you did there. You guys were on the right track trying to like break down like the word structure here. And I think this is Greek, I think. And if I was a better linguist, I could explain it, but and I would know for sure. But the answer here is incopresis. Incopresis.
Usually when it's really hot outside, I'm in Caprice.
When I'm thirsty in the 80s, I was looking for incopresis in the sun. No, it wasn't there. Never mind.
Nope, I still like it.
Forget I said anything.
Yeah, that would make sense being copra.
There's so much content in this episode.
Yeah, there is.
It's going to be hard to edit because I might just do a long one.
Funny.
Yeah, they deserve. I mean,
Shut my mouth.
It's the Peabody.
It's great.
Peabody of podcasting.
Honestly, I have a headache today, but for all the right reasons. Because usually I get it because I'm dehydrated, but now it's because I've been laughing.
Yeah, and I'm high on medicine, so it's good times all around. After 5 questions in the second round, we are at my birth year over here at the Goblet King at 85, and Team Kitty Stardust still kicking butt, 143.
Question number 6. In 2016, Train covered this in its entirety. The second of 3 consecutive self-titled albums by a legendary rock band that was originally released in 1969.
I think I have this, Amanda.
That's the only thing coming to me based on the year. I don't know why they'd have any right to cover this band, but
that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, we know Train doesn't know who they are.
Okay, yeah, I agree. All right, we're gonna lock in.
Okay, so
Jeff.
My original gut feeling is Led Zeppelin, because Zeppelin did Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and then they had a 4th one, but I think there was a break between 3 and 4. So I know they did.
I only
at least...
know that because of the amazing film The Client, when in order to take her on, she has to name all the Led Zeppelin albums. She goes, Led Zeppelin's albums were Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and the 4th, which is usually untitled, but most people refer to it as 4. I love that. So the fact that Train covered Led Zeppelin makes me sad in my soul. So let's get on with this question as fast as possible.
Okay, so we're gonna go with Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin.
We concur.
Nice, Jeff.
Points all around for unmitigated gall. Led Zeppelin 2.
Good job.
Don't you really need to hear Pat Monahan singing "Whole Lot of Love" though? Like, don't.
Do I though? Because I've lived this many years so far, somewhat successfully.
And you don't want to end it now.
And I haven't had to listen to it thus far, so.
It's like life was so good before I heard Darius Rucker do Wagon Wheel. Like, man, I remember those times. And
I'm going to stand behind that decision.
Check out...
don't mind him doing country music.
Do a quick Google search after this for should I play wagonwheel.com. Do you know it? It's like, are you considering playing Wagon Wheel for open mic and or concert as a cover? Are you Old Crow Medicine Show? Yes, play Wagon Wheel. Otherwise, it's don't play Wagon Wheel.
All right. Question number 7. Trains that can travel at or above 120 miles per hour are generally considered to be high speed. But within 50 miles per hour, what's the all-time speed record for a train set in 2015 by a Japanese maglev?
So we are going to go ahead and lock in.
I know that that China was trying to build a high-speed rail line, and I know their benchmark was like 300. So I'm guessing it's
really?
like...
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the Shinkansen travels like 225, 250. So I wouldn't be adverse to guessing like 275, 300, somewhere in that range. So...
And yeah, I think that sounds good to me.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do that. Whatever your instinct tells you.
Let's say 275.
And we were saying the same thing, except we said 275 go. 275.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no points.
No.
The correct answer is 375.
Wow.
375. Question number 8. Poo isn't always wasted. What's the historical term for human feces used as fertilizer? A name that comes from either the dirt it was mixed with or the time of day it was generally collected.
I thought he was going to talk about how some animals eat their own waste. That's called coprophilia. Sadly, I know that.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you for that. You're always, every time poo gets brought up, you're always talking about eating poo or loving poo or winning the poo.
Or rolling around in poo or like a dog.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I don't know, Ken.
I don't know. Let's just go with that.
Okay, we're locked in.
Yeah, manure is the one word that came to mind, but I don't know if that's human.
Well, I think he said time of day, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think I remember this from The Martian, the book, or I guess the movie too, but because he has to use the human waste to make the potatoes. And I believe it's called night soil.
Night soil. Yep. I like it.
Right.
That's
I mean,
perfect.
as soon as he said time of day, that made me remember that I think it's...
No, you're right. That's correct. That's a perfect answer.
Because I think part of it is that it looks much darker than regular fertilizer, and it's a way to tell, like, to stay away from it as opposed to the other fertilizer, because human waste could be dangerous to humans.
Yeah.
So I think it's night soil, but I think that's what I remember from The Martian.
Yep. You hit it right on the head.
Clearly, Smash Mouth wrote their hit song about Amanda All-Star.
That's true. And Night Soil,
Stop, guys.
the originally titled song from Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
You're working on that night soil?
Oh, yeah, night soil. We just went with manure because in my head I was like, time of day. Maybe it used to be called manooner, but yeah.
No. Of course, the correct answer is the perfect answer, night soil. Question number 9. In the 12th episode of the 4th season of The Simpsons, Marge Simpson finds herself the only thing between Springfield and a train running through it in Marge versus the Monorail. What legendary science fiction actor, who was at least the show's second or maybe third choice, guest starred in the episode?
I think I have a good idea.
You watched The Simpsons. I
remember this episode.
I think it is...
Monorail.
Yeah.
Monorail.
I think it is Leonard Nimoy, but I just want to make sure that I'm not confusing it with the episode with Mr. Burns as the alien, where he comes in and he's just kind of like the bumper person, and then he like quits in the middle of the show.
You would know better than I would. I'm kind of familiar with this episode because I know Phil Hartman, I believe, is in it, but
I think it's Leonard Nimoy.
Okay, we can lock in with that.
Because I think he says, like, I saved the day, but he really didn't do anything.
We'll lock in with famous director of Tom Selleck in 3 Men and a Baby.
Amanda, what was your gut?
It's Leonard Nimoy. Yeah. Yeah, same. You're right on the money.
As soon as you
one
said
of the
it,
best parts of living in California is they do a live Simpsons concert, and Conan O'Brien comes and sings the monorail song that he wrote, and it is astoundingly amazing.
That's great.
So William Shatner had already turned down The Simpsons previously. So they go to George Takei, who says, well, yeah, I'm open to it, but man, this episode seems really like anti-public transit. That's something I firmly believe in. So they go to the answer, Leonard Nimoy.
Nice.
Who makes Leonard Nimoy the third choice in anything?
Well, George Takei is awesome, to be fair.
Yes.
And to be fair, he was probably on The Simpsons and Futurama like 20 different times. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh.
And that's it. That's all you got, Will? Right? Question number 10. Like Jupiter, the moon is a celestial body. Moonraker, though, is a 1979 James Bond movie starring Roger Moore and a crass attempt to capitalize on the popularity of Star Wars. Which Pierce Brosnan Bond film began its life with a title that made sense within the context of the movie, only for an executive to mishear it and change one word, thereby ruining the title?
You did 4 or 5?
4.
4. So I think it has to be this one, right? Because the other ones totally make sense within the context of the movie.
I agree, because if you swap out that first word, I could see that being misheard.
Okay, we are locked in.
Okay, Amanda. So I know there's 4, and I'm missing 1. So I've got GoldenEye.
I'm missing 1 too. Hopefully, it's not the same.
So you've got both GoldenEye, I'm sure.
Yes.
The World Is Not Enough.
Yes.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yes, those are the 3 I have.
Okay. What's that last one?
I cannot think of it. I think we should go with Tomorrow Never Dies.
Okay. Then we will go Tomorrow Never Dies.
And I'm going to die when I hear what this 4th movie is.
The 4th movie is Die Another Day, but we also thought it was Tomorrow Never Dies.
Die? Is that a Madonna? Did Madonna do that one?
I think you're right.
Dang it.
So this is a trivia fact that burns me for all time, because the actual title is so much better. It makes so much more sense. Jonathan Pryce is a Rupert Murdoch analog, and his newspaper is called Tomorrow, and he orchestrates world events so that his newspaper can predict world events and is therefore never wrong. The original title of the effing movie, Tomorrow Never Lies.
Oh.
And
Very
some idiot executive says, oh, Tomorrow Never Dies. We're going with that.
At the end of regulation, 115 points for the Goblet King, and still well ahead in the lead, 183 points for Kitty Stardust.
My ass is very chapped from this spanking.
Right before we throw it to Will for our final round categories, Jeff, we've been seeing an overwhelming amount of support on Patreon, and we're kind of on a road to hopefully 500 patrons this year. At least that's our goal. But do you want to talk a little bit about how people can join Amanda and Will over at Patreon?
Absolutely. It's very simple. If you're interested in supporting the podcast monetarily and getting something in return for our infinite gratitude, you can join them at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. We have perks at every level. And as we are now saying, a Patreon a day keeps the doctor away, I think. So that's how we'll get to 500.
All right. Well, Will, what are our final round categories that we can wager on?
Your categories today are The Rock, a question about famous rocks. Rowdy Roddy Piper, a question about a movie. Hulk Hogan, a question about television. John Cena, a question about sports. And The Undertaker, a question actually about professional wrestling.
Okay, with a strong lead for Kitty Stardust, all the wagers are locked in. Let's get the questions.
Your question about famous rocks. What's the name of the rock installed at Clemson University's football stadium that took its name from a former coach who said of it, quote, "Take this rock and throw it over the fence or out in the ditch. Do something with it, but get it out of my office. Hillbilly Elegy could direct the way." Your question about a movie. I was going to ask about They Live in South Park, but somebody beat me to it a few episodes ago. So how about this? In what film could you find both Keith David, Piper's They Live co-star, and Christopher McDonald, a.k.a. Shooter McGavin? Your question on television. Hogan's Heroes starred Bob Crane, who knew a few things about sex tapes like Hulk Hogan, and Richard Dawson, who would go on to host Family Feud. Who are 4 of the 5 men who followed Dawson as the show's MC? And no, he doesn't count as one of the 5. Your sports question. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon has tried to promote John Cena as, quote, the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling. Which franchise was the last one to sign Ruth to a player contract, a club that generations later would have its own iconic slugger? And finally, your question about professional wrestling. Mark Calloway's Dead Man, The Undertaker, held tag team titles a total of 7 times during his WWE career, with 3 runs coming with Kane as the Brothers of Destruction. What other big man did Undertaker team with for 2 of his title reigns, the second most of his tag team title runs? For a special double your pleasure, double your fun, double or nothing degenerate gamblers challenge, what is that wrestler's real name?
All right, with that spicy challenge, we will consider these answers, and we'll be right back.
All the answers are now locked in. Let's hear those questions, and we'll give our answers.
What's the name of the rock installed at Clemson University's football stadium that took its name from a former coach who said of it, take this rock and throw it over the fence or out in the ditch. Do something with it, but get it out of my office. Hillbilly Elegy could direct the way.
Well, with that last hint, we wagered a big 30 on this one, and we said Howard.
Yep. With 15 on the line, we also said Howard's Rock.
Yeah, I was feeling charitable. I felt you all might not know your college football, but yeah, it is Howard's Rock. Clemson Stadium is known colloquially as Death Valley. The coach gets this rock from Death Valley. He's like, this is garbage. I hate it. Get it out of my office. They install it at the stadium, and now it is one of their beloved football traditions. Everybody touches the rock as they run down into the stadium.
That's so cool. I'm so glad, Jeff, you picked up on that direct clue. Excellent.
I'm glad
Very
you knew
cool.
the director. That's more important.
Rowdy Roddy Piper, a question about a movie. I was going to ask about They Live in South Park, but somebody beat me to it a few episodes ago. So how about this? In what film could you find both Keith David, Piper's They Live co-star, and Christopher McDonald, a.k.a. Shooter McGavin?
Me and Neal were battling for about 20 minutes in his kitchen trying to think of this answer, but we couldn't get to it.
Yeah, we know Keith David's in the movie Crash. There's a million people in that movie. Perhaps Christopher McDonald has a small role. So
he just sneaks into Crash, maybe.
Yeah.
Crash is a good thought there. Yeah, with the battle raged in the studio as well, and I think we came up short. We just couldn't place them. I mean, I was like, maybe Keith David wrestles an alligator in Happy Gilmore, but we just didn't get there.
Keith David wrestles alligators.
Father
Happy works on carburetors.
Well, I love that joke, but it looks like we're going to be losing 30 points. So
The answer there is Keith David plays a pimp. Christopher McDonald plays a sleazy television motivational speaker. Answer, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Oh,
is it?
No way.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Hulk Hogan, a question about television. Hogan's Heroes starred Bob Crane, who knew a few things about sex tapes like Hulk Hogan, and Richard Dawson, who would go on to host Family Feud, who are 4 of the 5 men who have followed him as the show's host. And no, he doesn't count as one of the 5.
We got 3, we're pretty sure. Louis Anderson, Steve Harvey, and the guy from Home Improvement, who we think his last name is Karn. And then we kind of hit a wall, and I thought maybe Richard Kind was another one of those.
Yeah, we wagered 20 on this one. Amanda just kind of let me run with it. Family Feud is like a big thing for my family. They're all much better at it than me. I don't know why, but maybe because they understand zeitgeist. So we said Richard Karn, Louis Anderson, John O'Hurley, and the low-hanging fruit, Steve Harvey. So
Points for you guys. It goes from Dawson to Ray Combs. Ray Combs. His story always makes me sad. And then back to Dawson for a year, then Louis Anderson, Richard Karn, John O'Hurley, and Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Nice job, Jeff. Really good.
John Cena, a question about sports. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon has tried to promote John Cena as the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling. Which franchise was the last one to sign Ruth to a player contract, a club that, generations later, would have its own iconic slugger?
Yeah, we wagered 0 on this one, and we were just thinking of clubs that had pretty big sluggers like the Giants and whatnot, but we figured maybe because of the untimely passing of Hank Aaron, this was just an insert question here. So he said the Braves.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right. Atlanta.
Very good, you guys. Very good.
Yeah, unfortunately, we wagered nothing on this, so nothing ventured, nothing gained, but also nothing lost. We said the Cardinals, so.
Yeah.
I wrote up that question before Aaron's unfortunate passing, but the answer is the Braves, who moved from Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta. Boston Braves signed Ruth to his last player contract. Only played with them for a few months.
It's always the one that we don't wager on.
I know, right? Yeah.
You guys didn't wager on that either?
No.
No, it's sports. It's not there. It's Matt's strength, so.
The Undertaker, a question actually about professional wrestling. Mark Calloway's dead man, The Undertaker, held tag team titles a total of 7 times during his WWE career, with 3 runs coming with Kane as the Brothers of Destruction. What other big man did Undertaker team with for 2 of his title reigns, the second most of his tag team title runs? For a special Double Your Pleasure, Double Your Fun, Double or Nothing Degenerate Gamblers Challenge, what is that wrestler's real name?
We wagered 30 points. I knew that one of his tag team partners was The Big Show. So the clue was trying to figure out The Big Show's real name. And I remember on Netflix, they had a sort of family sitcom with him as the dad. And they, I think, credited him as Paul White. And I believe that's his name. So that's what we went with.
Wow, nice. Well, we thought long and hard about this and thought really seriously that if his name was Kane, clearly his partner's name was Abel, and that his real name then is Abel McAbleface.
Oh, so close, so close. Correct answer is there, Big Show and Paul White.
Well done, gentlemen. Well done.
And the final scores are in, and it was very close despite one team losing the entire game. Team The Goblet King has 175 points, but today's cream of the crop with 188 points is Kitty Stardust.
The cream of the crop.
I would love to give a Paul Hollywood handshake to Amanda for the excellent job.
Oh, and I will say you're an amazing teammate, and any references to the Great British Bake Off gives you extra stars in my book.
Well, Amanda, on that note, great game. Thank you so much for joining us today. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or any last words?
Yeah, first off, I mean, thank you for this show. And in a time when a lot is pretty bad, you guys make something that is really good. And I really, really appreciate that. I'd love to get a shout out to my sister, Audrey, who helped calm my nerves today and give me some practice trivia, and my amazing trivia team, The Intentional Fallacies, out here in Long Beach.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining us, and you're welcome back anytime. And as we said earlier, the Peabody of podcast trivia, Will Nevin, our Dutch enthusiast here. Will, any last words after this wonderful game that you put together for us?
Yeah, if anybody's interested in reading about comic books, I cover comics with a bunch of my friends at Comics XF. You can find us on Twitter or at comicsxf.com. And you can find me on Twitter if you want to harass me at Will Nevin.
Awesome. Well, we had such a great time today. Such a pleasure having both of you here. And also thank you for your support on Patreon. And for everyone else who supports us there, you can hit us up on social media at Triviality Pod or at The Crop or in our Discord. But for Amanda, Will, Jeff, Ken, Matt, who is still waiting at the Guinness factory outside in the rain, and myself, that was Triviality.
Will might be the first winner of the P and Peabody Awards.
That's
nice
one of
job,
those
Amanda.
Gems that I'm going to have to cut.
Yeah.
I wish we could leave it in.
I know. I wish we could too.
There's so much good stuff.
If we
Like
played
90% of my jokes are jokes, so it's really hard to do a podcast where you can't do that sort of thing.
I have a good bag of true crime jokes as well, but I don't want to come off as like some
too
creep.
dark.
Yeah. But I'll just pull my skin back and continue.
Oh, God.